In this video, we're going to go through example D1 from our notes. It's another data transformation question. This time it's on the reciprocal transformation. Once again, we're looking at a past exam question. This is an exam 2 question. So let's get stuck into it. We've got the number of hours spent doing homework each week, or homework hours, and the number of hours spent watching television each week. Television hours have been recorded for a group of 20 Year 12 students. And the results are displayed in this table as well as this scatter plot, which clearly has a curve to it. The question goes on to say that the relationship between homework hours per week and television hours per week is clearly nonlinear, so a reciprocal transformation is to be applied to the variable television hours. So this question is going to involve us performing a transformation, which means that we need to get the values into our calculator, into the statistics screen. Television hours is drawn on the x-axis of the scatter plot, which tells us that it's the explanatory variable, x-axis explanatory. So the television hours numbers need to go into list 1. Homework hours on the y-axis, so it's our response variable, which means it needs to go into list 2. So carefully put all that data into your calculator. I've just done it in advance to save a little bit of time on the video. And then we can get stuck into working out the question. The question says, to apply this reciprocal transformation to the data and for us to determine the equation of the least squares regression line that allows homework hours to be predicted from the reciprocal of television hours. So really got 2 jobs here. 1 is to apply the transformation, and 2 is to then come up with the regression line equation. So if we're doing the reciprocal of television hours, really what that means is we're doing 1 over x. So at the bottom of list 3, we're going to put in our transformation. And the transformation is 1 over, or 1 divided by, list 1. And remember that we have to type the word list into the calculator at the bottom using the keyboard, and we bring up a whole bunch of numbers in list 3. Right? These are our transformed x values. To get the equation of the regression line now, we're going to go to Calc, Regression, and Linear Reg. But remembering that we've changed the x values, so we're not using the values that are in list 1, we're using the values that are in list 3. There's nothing in the question about a residual plot or needing to know residual values, so we can just leave that off. All right, and in this screen, we now have all the information we need to know to generate the equation. Notice though that the calculator is still just giving the equation as y equals a plus bx. So we need to make sure that we write the equation in the correct form. From the calculator, the equation is just y equals 5.12 plus 899 actually would round to 0.90 times x. Okay, so that's if we copy it straight from our calculator, but we know that in the context of the question, the y variable is really homework hours. And the x variable, well, it's actually, the x variable is not just television hours, but what we transformed it to, which was 1 over television hours. So we can write this as, oops, lost the spot. One over television hours. Okay, and it's important to put the names of the variables, but also the transformation into the equation. And so our final answer is homework hours equals 5.12 plus 1.290 times 1 over television hours. Second part of the question gets us to do a prediction with this equation, because it says if a student spends 12 hours per week watching television, use the least squares regression line to predict the number of hours that the student spends doing homework. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our equation, copy it down here again, and we're going to substitute 12 in place of television hours. And to calculate that, we can go into our main screen and work it out. So it'll be 5.12 plus 102.9 times 1 over 12. So 13.695, but correct to one decimal place, that would be 13.7 hours.